Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Goodwin Park. It's top of the table action in the NPL Queensland, round 15 in this vitally important clash between the first place Olympic and second place Western Pride. Good evening, it's Rafe Griffin with you in commentary this evening as the two teams walk out onto the pitch accompanied by the match officials. A decent crowd rolling in here at Goodwin Park. The grandstand on this western side almost full to the brim. Here come the two teams on to the park. Let's take you through the two team lineups this evening. For Olympic, in goal is Nick Mooney, three Shane Stefanuto, 4 Kristen Waters, 5 Steve White, 6 Matt Mundy, 7 Shelford Deus, 8 Kazuya Ito, 9 Danny Byrne, 10 Kieran Sanders, 11 Jess Lofthouse and 20 Zelfi Nazari. Substitutes for Olympic are Jack Glover, Costa Pasaros, James Cumaneo, John Philippe Lazem and the reserve keeper Dakota Sprange. For the Western Pride this evening, as we see them shaking hands with their opponents, in goal is Max Davison, 2 Will McFarlane, 3 Danny McHenry, 4 Deloise Tuashimi, 5 Cameron Crestani, 7 Adam Endine, 8 Josh Wilson, 9 Andrew Pengelly, 10 Joe Duckworth, 13 Fraser Hills and 14 Gab Harwash. Their reserves are Mitch Bird, Solomon Lakonga, Jacob Minnett, Alex Parsons and the reserve keeper is Justin Weir. Ben Kahn, of course, in charge of Olympic. Reg Devani is filling in for Graham Harvey this evening for Western Pride as the referee Adam Kersey conducts the coin toss between the two skippers, Danny Byrne of Olympic and Cameron Crestani of Western Pride. And of course, we can't do it without sponsors, and Olympic would like to thank their sponsors, the Coffee Club, and for Western Pride, their supporters, iMed Radiology Network and All Sports Physiotherapy. So the match officials, powered by Total Tools, in their final pre-match discussion. Joey Lee and Aaron Galanti will be assisting referee Adam Kersey out there this evening. Of course, the grand final referee from the NPL in both 2015 and 2016. The players will switch sides. And as always, of course, you can follow our social media channels. Follow us on the socials. It's Football Queensland on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. No matter how you're watching us tonight, whether you might be on the Facebook channel or through YouTube, keen to know your thoughts. It's starting to get a bit rowdy. Plenty of juniors on hand at Goodwin Park. This game originally scheduled to be played tomorrow night, but shifted due to Olympics' all-important FFA Cup clash on Wednesday evening that we'll talk about more later on. Western Pride get us underway. It's round 15 from the NPL Queensland. Olympic up against the Western Pride from Goodwin Park. We've had a bit of rain late in the piece here in Brisbane this afternoon. Not too much. Just slickened up the surface a little bit, about 2 millimetres of rain. Nothing to be concerned with. Western Pride out in the green. Here's Sanders. Back for Stefanuto. And on the Insta poll, of course, as we ask you each and every week, who do you think is going to win? And the numbers are going Olympics' way at the moment by 61 to 39. Here's Stefanuto with another touch for Matt Mundy, playing his 100th game in the NPL Queensland this evening. All of those for Olympic, one of the inaugural players for Olympic back at the start of the NPL in 2013. After being a part of the Brisbane Roar Hyundai A-League championship winning teams during the Ange Postecoglou days. It's Max Davison in the goal for the Western Pride this evening, playing it out for Kevin Crestani, another former Raw player. Crestani again, the Pride skipper. Wilson. Pengelly. Missed the opening round encounter between these two sides. Crestani in a battle there with Deus. With McFarlane playing it back to his keeper. Chiyoshimi. Harwash. Chiyoshimi again. And Nick Mooney with his first touch of the evening in the Olympic goal with the gloves this evening. They've shifted it forward long here. Lofthouse. Sanders is moving in from the left-hand side towards the far post. He's still negotiating his way around Lofthouse. Still alive in the box for Olympic. It's cut back. And Danny Byrne can't repeat his heroics of last week. Danny Byrne of old last week, scoring 2 goals in Olympics' 5-2 victory over Magpies Crusaders. Despite their position on the table, Magpies Crusaders well and truly made Olympic work for it last week. Sitting in second last at the moment, Magpies Crusaders, but Olympic did score first, and then Magpies Crusaders replied. And they both exchanged goals again, 2-2 at half-time. Those two sides, but 3 goals to Olympic in the second half. Saw them rack up another 3 points. Magpies Crusaders, while they are in scrap down the bottom of the table, certainly improving week by week. And while they won't figure in the final series, they're certainly probably going to have a large say in who will. Going to trouble a lot of sides in this second half of the NPL season. Of course, there's other action currently going on around Queensland tonight. We've already had one game concluded. That was up on the Sunshine Coast, where Cairns FC recorded a 4-1 victory. I should say Cairns FC a 2-1 victory against the Sunshine Coast Fire. The other game that is at half-time is in Gatton. Southwest Queensland Thunder and Redlands tied at 0-0 at the break. And across the river at Perry Park, it's 0-0 between the Strikers and Lions that kicked off at the same time as this encounter. And in the FQPL, half-time, Peninsula continuing their dominant ways, 4-1 leaders over East. As we see this corner played into a crowded box and cleared at the post there. Secondary effort here from the Pride. And Mooney, the last moment, forced to tip it over the bar. 5 minutes in the FQPL between Logan Lightning and Wolves, and it's 0-0. And another game also in progress up on the Sunshine Coast, 7 minutes in, Wanderers and Mitchelton 0-0. We'll keep you up to date with the scores as they progress through the night. The crowds continue to roll in here at Goodwin Park. And diving was Mooney. And they'll have to withstand a third corner in the row. Olympic. Due to the rain, we're not in our usual position on top of the roof tonight. We've scrambled into the cover underneath, and vantage points at a premium in Goodwin Park because of that rain. Ben Kahn screaming on the Olympic bench. Looking for a free kick. Adam Kersey not willing to oblige the Olympic coach. Pride here. Oh, it's offside. It will be the goal. Will be chalked off from Duckworth's effort. Joe Duckworth, who scored in that 1-0 victory for Western Pride last week against the Brisbane Strikers. There's an Olympic player down on his back. Physio being called on to provide some attention. Is it Waters, I think? Might be White, actually. Waters is in the 4 shirt. Early in the season, it was Western Pride who hosted this corresponding fixture out at the Briggs Road complex, and they went down 3-2 to Olympic that night back in round 2. That game ended Western Pride's 12-game unbeaten streak from 2017, continuing into 2018. Pride then went on a unbeaten 9-match streak after that, before that was brought to an end by Brisbane City a couple of weeks ago, but back on track with that 1-0 win over the Strikers last week out at Briggs Road. So Mooney will oblige with the free kick. It's Harwash there that met it for the Pride. There's a shove in the back from Endine, yes, says referee Adam Kersey. Switch of play from Ito for Stefanuto on the left-hand side. This is Sanders. Sanders in towards the penalty spots where Lofthouse was lurking. Sanders again, Stefanuto in the left-back position for Olympic. Sanders is flirting with that touchline, loses out to Wilson. Diving challenge in from Harwash, and the referee will have a little bit of a word to him on the run. So free kick to be taken by Sanders. Towards the edge of the box. It's almost evaded everyone. Alert was Davison on the line for Western Pride. It didn't end up coming to him as they look to move on the counter here. Tuashimi now held up near the halfway line. Straight across the face of Lofthouse, who was looking to intercept. Composure here from the Pride. Chris Darting. McHenry. Defended by Waters. Knotted away by Stefanuto. Straight into the Pride player, though, in Pengelly. Here's Deus. It's number 3 for the Pride, McHenry, who earns back possession for his team. Tuashimi. Then Endine, Tuashimi, looping ball in. Hills up front for Western Pride. White for Olympic. And Ito, another one of those foundation players for Olympic from the 2013 NPL. Lofthouse, he's got 2 that he might end up dealing with on that far side. Flag goes up. So it's a free kick, is it, to Olympic? Looks like it's a corner. Ito's comes short as an option. In comes the corner. Stefanuto will go back and retrieve it for the home side. Back for his keeper in Mooney. Former Far North Queensland Heat player. Third year at Olympic for Nick Mooney. This is White, Stefanuto, and Waters. Olympic, as I said in the opener, currently running top of the NPL Queensland, with 11 wins, 2 draws, and a loss, just the one lost. 45 goals for, 14 against, second best in attack in terms of goals scored, and the third best defence in terms of goals conceded. Three wins in a row in the league for Olympic. Looking to make it a fourth this evening and potentially go 5 points ahead on the NPL Queensland table. It's a 2-point gap to the second place Western Pride at the moment with 11 wins and the 2 losses. 58 goals for the best attack in the league, up against 13 goals conceded, the second best defence. So as you can see, just really underlined the top of the table clash this evening as Pengelly was caught offside. Referee once again having a chat on the run. Referee Adam Kersey asking for the free kick to be taken in the correct position. Here's Lofthouse. Deus will hassle Tuashimi. Tuashimi desperate for the ball. Unable to keep possession for his side though. And of course, later on tonight, it's the big Northern Derby up in Mackay. Magpies Crusaders hosting North Queensland United. And of course, we've got the Instapoll going for that tonight. 59% getting behind the home crowd in that big Northern Derby to be played out at Solojinkan Oval. Now, Adam Kersey has called out Shane Stefanuto, former Raw man, not backward in coming forward and offering his opinion. Or he's had his first chat of the evening. Here comes that corner, whipped in, and it was belted over the crossbar by McFarlane towards his own goal. So another corner here for the hosts. Ito. Chased down by Harwash. Pengelly was just a little bit flat-footed. That pass directed towards him. Stefanuto. Lofthouse. Dances around McFarlane. Lofthouse towards the back post. The Olympic runner there, and Danny Byrne moving the opposite direction to where the ball was coming. Stefanuto. Lofthouse. Stefanuto. On the ground for Lofthouse. Wider for White. Towards the back post. Forces Davison to make the save, however. And there'll be another corner here for Olympic. Said that there was a big crowd rolling into Goodwin Park. I'm never good with estimating crowds, but must almost be nudging towards the 1,000 mark here. This Western Grandstand is almost completely full. Over the head, and once again, Davison has to get a tip on it. Apologies if you are seeing some obstructed vision in our live stream this evening. As I said, due to the rain, we've had to come down off the roof and into the spectators in the grandstand, and it's just a little bit of movement in the grandstand, so we apologise if some of the vision might be obstructed this evening. McHenry, the other number 3. Stefanuto backtracks. Mooney plays it out onto the right for Ito. Nazari. Ito. Circumnavigates. Pushes it forward. Too high for Lofthouse. Mundy with the defensive work. He's given away the free kick here against Joe Duckworth. Matt Mundy, as I said earlier, his 100th game in the NPL as well as his 100th game for Olympic, and didn't want the ceremony to get the better of this game, saying he was just looking to come to Goodwin Park and smash the Pride, in his words. It was his focus rather than the individual milestone. Once again, a fast tempo game as you'd expect in a top of the table clash. You have just joined us, not too many chances for either side so far. Olympic probably just shading it. Chiushimi for the Pride. Low cross in. Cut out by Waters, the opposite number 4. Wilson. Now Nazari for Olympic. White. Stefanuto. And Waters. Duckworth looking to put the pressure on the tall Kristen Waters. Stefanuto bring it into the attacking half of Olympic. Nazari. Lofthouse. Fouled by Crestani. Free kick taken quickly by Lofthouse for his teammate Nazari. Once again, no one waiting there in anticipation for the home side. So that cross goes wanting. Josh Hogan appreciating the match that's in front of us tonight, saying that this is real Aussie football. Down in the NPL, the state leagues. Tolga Euromaz saying Steve White for MVP this evening. If I'm right in thinking, Tolga played at Surfers Paradise in the Gold Coast Premier League. It's an infringement by Western Pride. We'll bring you back up to date with what's going on around the grounds in just a moment when there's another break in play. Sanders. Long into the box, and Waters was the focal point up front with his height. Got a nod on towards goal, but Davison equal to the effort in the Pride goal. Nazari. Aforementioned Steve White. Stefanuto unmarked. Lofthouse has switched sides. Beat one, couldn't beat the second though, Jez Lofthouse. Chested down by Waters, and then 1-2 with White in close quarters. Diaz was fouled. Diaz, I should say. Shot for Diaz. Spent time at the Central Coast Mariners NPL system under coach Ben Kahn. Janice White watching on from Foresters Beach. Also cheering on Olympic. Seems as though the sentiment amongst our live stream followers for the home side tonight. Perhaps all the Western Pride supporters are already here at Goodman Park. Kersey gives the all clear. In comes the free kick from Sanders. Once again, Davison off his line. And the goal kick will result. That gives us an opportunity to go around the grounds and let you know what's going on. So just a reminder that in that earlier game this afternoon, Cairns have defeated Sunshine Coast Fire by 2-1. Out at Gatton, there's 64 minutes completed. It's 0-0 between Southwest Queensland Thunder and Redlands, but Redlands down to 10 men after having a man sent off. And across the river at Perry Park, 23 minutes gone. It's the Strikers and Lions. 0-0. Of course, the Lions had the epic FFA Cup game on Wednesday night against Rochedale that went the full distance into penalty shootout as well. So maybe Lions might be battling for a bit of fitness come the end of that game. The Strikers might be able to outrun them. In the FQPL, it's still 4-1 between Peninsula and East. That's 20 minutes into the second half, and there's been goals in the other games. 23 minutes gone, and Wolves have scored first against Logan Lightning and lead 1-0 and up at Buderim. In fact, I think that game has actually been transferred to the Meriden Fields at Caloundra. And Mitchelton lead Sunshine Coast Wanderers by 1-0. So that catches you up on what's going on around the grounds in the NPL and the FQPL at the moment. Harwash. Tried battling to get it out of their defensive half. They're able to do so. Looking in there was Nazari, almost in possession. Free kick will go the Pride's way at the edge of the attacking third for the Pride. Chiwashimi. That's one through for ND. A clump of red and white shirts immediately attracted to him. Here's Hills. And oh, spectacular effort there from Pengelly. Probably the best effort of the night so far for the Western Pride. Mooney didn't have to make a play at the end as it swung wide of the upright. Ball hasn't left the air and the goal kick will be retaken. So the usual Western Pride coach, Graham Harvey, not here this evening, tending to matters overseas, and Lofthouse will collect the first caution of the evening. Probably heard from the Goodman Park faithful what they thought of that decision from Adam Kersey. Leading provider in terms of goals so far this season for Olympic, Jez Lofthouse with 8 goals. Cristani will restart play. Once again, Tony Giakis joining us from Cyprus on a Saturday morning. Despite being a prominent figure on the local football scene, Tony can't seem to give it away after his move overseas. Here's McHenry, loops one up, and Mooney was hassled there as he clattered into the upright in the contest with that Western Pride player. A little bit of push and shove as the Western Pride players are told to go away by the Olympic players, and once again the Olympic physio will be brought on. That gives us the opportunity to tell you what else is going on this weekend in terms of the live streams on the Football Queensland Facebook and YouTube channels. Tomorrow, it's a choice, viewers' choice tomorrow. You can either join me for the FQPL game as I travel out to Eric Evans Oval at Bundamba, where the Ipswich Knights will be hosting Holland Park Hawks, who couldn't quite get a victory midweek in the catch-up game against Mitchelton, despite a late comeback. So 3 p.m. tomorrow, FQPL, Ipswich Knights versus the Holland Park Hawks, or if you prefer, Simon Smales making the trip down the M1 to cover the NPL women's game between Mudgeeraba and Western Pride. So both those games tomorrow, Football Queensland live stream, the FQPL Ipswich Knights versus Holland Park Hawks, and in the women's, Mudgeeraba versus Western Pride. 3 p.m. tomorrow on the various Football Queensland social channels. And if that isn't enough football for you, we saw that blockbuster FFA Cup tie on Wednesday night where Lions got it done in the shootout against Rochedale. 2 more epic ties in midweek this week. On Tuesday night, I'm going to AJ Kelly Park to cover Peninsula Power and the Brisbane Strikers. Tuesday, 7:30 on the Football Queensland Facebook page. And then Simon Smale will have the all NPL Queensland battle for you. Olympic in action here tonight. We'll be travelling out to Walter Park to take on tonight at 7:30. So Tuesday night 7:30, it's Peninsula versus Brisbane Strikers. Wednesday night, it's Moreton Bay versus Olympic. We've already got one team through to round 7, that being Lions after their victory last night, or Wednesday night. They'll face the winner at home against that winner of Peninsula Power and Brisbane Strikers. Now, Nick Mooney just recovering with the aid of the physio. Did give the thumbs up to the bench though. Just hands on the knees. Quick drink of water to regain his senses. Adam Kersey gives a final check. And play will resume, presumably with a free kick here for Olympic after that goalmouth scramble. So no goals here after half an hour almost being completed. McHenry. Centurion Mundy. Lofthouse. Nad Nerb watching on from Ormo. Ex-Tasmanians are not phased, 2 wins, just enjoying some local football. Love the courage. Thanks very much, Nad Nerb. And Braden Hoffman watching from Danny Burns' lounge room. While the Olympic skipper goes around here, Braden Hoffman, former player himself, invading the Olympic skipper's lounge room. Glad to have you around, Braden. I might have over-dramatised that just a little. So yellow card is produced for the Western Pride player. Second booking of the night. I believe that's Fraser Hills. Confirmation that it is Fraser Hills into referee Kersey's notebook. Stefanuto almost overhit. Control from Waters. Duckworth was the man piling on the pressure. Takes the first time. Search of Deus. Wilson. Forced to backtrack. Chiyoshimi. Too far for his teammate. Right across the face of Pengelly there. This is Lofthouse. Was the ball kept in? No, it wasn't in the opinion of the assistant. Oh, he's caught offside. It was a tight call there against Duckworth. Olympic defence was aware to it. Held their ground. The head-to-head record between these two sides, it is good signs for Olympic in that respect. Olympic in the 11 games already played between these two sides. Come back to that stat in a moment as the Western Pride look to attack. Yes, Olympic have won this fixture 8 times. There's been 2 wins by the Western Pride and a draw. Olympic have won this fixture the last 4 times have been played between these two sides. Deus going down, looking for contact. It's a half-hearted attempt from Sanders in order to draw the referee's attention. I think he was thinking of it and then decided that it was looking a little bit silly going down like that, and now Sanders vents a bit of frustration on the keeper, Max Davison. Referee will drag him out for a discussion. Just say that's not on. Escapes the official caution. That guest, a Pride supporter, telling that keep the crowd quiet. I hate noisy supporters. I would have thought it would have been adding to the atmosphere, Matt. Which is a good one here. My goal would certainly quieten down the home supporters if they can find one in the remaining 10 or so minutes before the half-time break. Cristani. McHenry. Harwash. We've got a little more effects mic that we do usually here. Good one. Targets turn straight in the path of Duckworth. Just composes himself and it flashes past the upright. Defensive error from Olympic, and Western Pride almost made them pay full toll. So an escape, a let-off for Olympic there. Would have been very much against the run of play. Bird. The advantage of Sanders. Pressure by Deus, and Davison with his clearance knocked it straight to the feet of the Olympic player in Deus, and that could have ended up anywhere, that ball. Thankfully for the Pride, it ends up the other side of the upright, so both sides with defensive lapses in the last 60 seconds. But both have found themselves fortunate not to have conceded. Just taking a quick look at the stats. Possession going Olympics' way, 59% to 41. terms of shots, it's one shot on target each. Olympic with one shot off and Western Pride with 2 shots off. So 2 shots at goal for Olympic, 3 for Western Pride. Olympic with the majority of the possession so far. Freeze. Given this free kick to the advantage of Western Pride. Did see some members of the pit here, Matt. Saw a flag with the pit on it. I think they're confined down to the far right of the grandstand here. Nazari was he brought down illegally and a yellow card. So the third of the evening for Adam Kersey to dish out. It's Gab Harwash. Good evening, Kim Gibson. Yeah, we'd love to give you scores of the NPLW, but we're limited in some of the updates we get. We'll try and track those down for you. Definitely want to give exposure to all levels of the NPL and FQPL. It's just a bit harder sometimes to try and find those NPLW scores, but we'll try and drag them up for you at half time. Meanwhile, it's Deus for Sanders. Deus played into the back of the feet of the Western Pride player in McHenry, who lunges back, hoping that Adam Kersey wouldn't point to the corner. Variation short, potentially, for Olympic. Lofthouse and Ito's dragged out 2 defenders. Play it in. Beaten Mundy. Nazari. No ball into the box. Lofthouse will deal with it. Forced to retreat outside the area for Mundy. Special if he could score in his 100th game. Pride deep in their defensive territory, looking to escape with composure. Sanders on Davison there. McHenry up against Byrne. McHenry on the left-hand side, out to chase it is Pengelly. Waiting the box to Hills in the height of Duckworth. Indeed getting involved. Mooney at the near post. Here's some scores from the NPL women. And over at Heath Park, Gold Coast United lead Eastern Suburbs by 2-1. Lions 3-1 up against Logan Lightning. And Mitchelton 1-0 up against the Sunshine Coast Wanderers, with Moreton Bay and Capella scheduled to kick off at 7 p.m. Hills for the Pride as we head towards the shadows of the first half break. McHenry. Wilson. Harwash. Pride retreat all the way back to the halfway line and further. Crestani. Wilson. Once again, another retreat to Ashimi. Squeezes between the two Olympic players. Hills, will he go from long range? To Ashimi. Continued on his run. End-to-end, Lofthouse. Pace down that right-hand touchline. Perhaps hit it a little bit too far and lost track of the ball. Can we please get a happy birthday for Matt Guest? Well, happy birthday, Matt. Liam Parslow also supporting the Pride. Lots of people wishing Matt Guest a happy birthday in the comments. Even more enjoyable for him if the Western Pride can get up. Davison with the clearance. Backtracking all the way into his defensive half for the ball. Olympic come away with it again through Sanders. Harwash. No one in the attacking half for Western Pride just yet. Burn. Yellow card. There's a red. Second yellow for Gab Harwash, who brings down the Olympic skipper, Danny Byrne. And Adam Kersey was right in on the spot to adjudicate. 2 yellow cards to Gab Harwash inside this first half. And Western Pride are reduced to 10 for the remainder of this game. So last week it was the Western Pride that played against 10 after Michael McGowan was sent off for the Strikers, and throws the head back, and immediately Adam Kersey was there to rule. So this week it will be the Pride who will have to play with 10. Just having a look at an internal replay on that challenge. The free kick will be taken in the meantime, though. Waters. Moody. Stefanuto. Nazari. So that could be a critical game changer in the lead up to the halftime break.
Yeah, right.
Danny Byrne, the aforementioned player who was fouled in that challenge by Harwash.
Thrown in the deep end.
Lofthouse, low cross.
You should.
Into Asheri now. Shielded by Lofthouse. Concession of the throw-in from Western Pride. Perhaps time for Western Pride, despite the numerical disadvantage, to go into the sheds ahead. McHenry. Slides past Hills. The thought was right, the execution didn't come off. Sanders on the halfway line. Leaves it for Mundy. Mundy. Has he got a deflection off the Pride play? He has, and earns his side a corner. So perhaps a final chance here for Olympic to break this deadlock. been a lot between the two sides, but in terms of attacking territory, Olympic have had the best of it. Clearance away. Nazari. Ross will come in from the right. Stefanuto. Again they go out on the right, Olympic. I sense a bit of a weakness in that left-hand defence of the Pride. Lundy turns into a roundabout. Now they come left through Sanders. It's beaten Hills. Sanders have a shot. Was the call from one of the Olympic faithful in the stand. Didn't do that, Sanders. All bar one behind the ball for the Pride. Nazari. Another corner here for Olympic before the break. Claims of handball. No decision by the referee. Sanders. Nazari. Too high, too long to cause any threats. And referee Adam Kersey blows them in to this first half. Oh, it's a bit of a... Actually, that might have been just half-hearted between Deus and Crestani, was it? A bit of a laugh, I'm not sure about that. There's just something in the background. There's words being exchanged between Kevin Crestani and Shelford Deus as they both go to the sheds. I'll just keep an eye on that when they come back out for the second half. But we've had no goals here at Goodwin Park here in the first half. Neither keeper has been really trouble. A couple of chances that they've defended, but Western Prime will go into the second half down a man after the send-off of Gab Harwash, accumulating 2 yellow cards in this first half. So time to take a break as the players trot off to the sheds. It's Olympic 0, Western Pride 0 in this round 15 NPL Queensland match.
This is Walker. Through ball. And it's in the back of the net! Ali Schaefer opens the scoring.
Swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
Football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Socceroos.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others.
My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
we make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the Aldi Mini Roos ambassadors.
Wow, it's Archie Thompson, he's a legend. And Steph Patrick from the Westfield Matildas, she is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
Today. Getting an attacking position. This is Walker. Through ball. And it's in the back of the net! Ali Schaefer opens the scoring.
football is my favourite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Socceroos.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others.
My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
We make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the LD Miniroos ambassadors.
Wow, it's Archie Thompson. He's a legend. And Steph Natley from the Westfield Matildas. She is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
So the two teams coming back out to Goodwin Park for this second half of this round 15 NPL Queensland encounter. It's 0-0 on the scoreboard between Olympic and Western Pride. But if you have just joined us, Western Pride down to 10 after the send-off late in the first half of Gab Harwash for a second yellow card. So they'll have to go through the remaining 45 minutes with 10. Will that be enough for Olympic to be able to capitalise. Let's take you around the grounds at the moment. Firstly, we'll check in on the NPLW and in the match at Heath Park between East and Gold Coast. It's Gold Coast that lead 2-1. Lions lead Logan Lightning by 4-2, and Mitchelton are 2-0 leaders over the Sunshine Coast Wanderers, with Moreton Bay and Capella kicking off at 7 o'clock and almost about to kick off there. In the NPL, the other games being played around the grounds. Southwest Queensland Thunder. Well, originally we told you before that Redlands had a man send-off, but perhaps it was Southwest Queensland Thunder. In fact, there's a send-off each. So both sides ended up with 10 men out there at Gatton, but 3 goals in the last quarter of an hour. And Southwest Queensland Thunder have defeated Redlands by 3-0. Half-time at Perry Park, Strikers and Lions 0-0. And Moreton Bay at the Corporate Travel Management Stadium lead 1-0 over Brisbane City after 26 minutes. And in the FQPL, Peninsula Power continue their domination at the top of the table. Chalk up another victory, this time 6-1 over East, who are looking like a finals contender earlier in the season. A couple of big losses in the last 2 games, and perhaps those chances for the Tigers have started dropping off. It's 1-1 between Logan and Wolves at half-time. Approaching half-time on the Sunshine Coast, Mitchelton leads Sunshine Coast Wanderers 1-0, and a bit of a shock based on recent form. 35 minutes in, Capella lead Rochedale 3-0. Perhaps Rochedale showing the effects of that FFA Cup game that went to extra time and penalties the other night. And in about 10 minutes, South will kick off against Southside Eagles down at Wakeley Park. Back to the action here at Goodwin Park. Here's Ito. Nazari through for Deus. Oh, there's 2 Olympic players there attempting to capitalise. I think the referee's made a good decision there. Adam Kersey, one of the Olympic supporters, saying that's 3 penalties that Olympic have been dudded. He's not happy. Tuashemi. Centurion Mundy. Ito. Waters. Pride. Bit of space for Duckworth. It opens up for him off the left foot. And Mooney. Good save to tip it over the bar. Just fancy the side that it's going to be mistakes that are going to turn this game. We saw towards the end of the first half, defensive errors in the space of 60 seconds from both sides, and the opponent almost made them pay. Defensive error from Olympic, and Duckworth certainly tested Mooney. Met by Hills. Deus. Mundy. Sanders. Facebook page, funny old game asking at halftime, is Jez Lofthouse the new Terry Hughes? An interesting poll on that Facebook page. Terry Hughes, a stalwart down at Rochedale for a number of years, and then came to Olympic in 2014. Suffered a... Let's take a look at that, and the goal's been scored! It's the man who's on his 100th game tonight, Matt Mundy, who's broken the deadlock 4 minutes into the second half. I said, would it be a good night for the man celebrating his century this evening? And at the moment, it's looking good for Olympic and himself. A goal in his 100th game to Matt Mundy. And the deadlock broken. Olympic lead 1-0 over Western Pride. Almost came out of nothing, really, didn't it? Mundy sensed the opportunity. He started it. That phase of play back in his own half, and again, Western Pride guilty here. Lofthouse squares it. Oh, was it Byrne who had the first chance at it? And then it was blazed over the bar. It's Sanders and Olympic after it's been a drought of goals through the first 49 minutes. Almost had two in the space of 60 seconds. And in the context of this game and Western Pride being down to 10, even though it's still early in the second half, that might have almost put a lock on the 3 points for Olympic. Deus going down easily was the Western Pride player. Good decision by Kersey not to blow the whistle. Duckworth, Waters with the crucial defending effort there. And so too there again for Stefanuto. Waters. Lofthouse. Looking for the throw-in decision. Good hassling from Sanders. He's got Deus in front of him. Oh, Nazari slips at the critical moment. Just a little bit of moisture on this Goodwin Park surface after the earlier rain this afternoon. And another yellow card. This time for Olympic, their second of the evening. Steve White. That goes into the referee's notebook. Matt, you wouldn't want to hear me sing Happy Birthday. You'd have the computer permanently on mute if you heard my voice. Ball aimed towards the box. Now it's Wilson. Just checking in on the Insta poll, and with that goal that's been scored for Olympic, you still think that they will go on to win this match after the 90 minutes. 60% on the Insta poll thinking that Olympic will win. Still some Pride supporters hanging in there. 4 in every 10. Thinking the Pride can rescue the situation. Try and get back to consecutive victories and launch another unbeaten run. But the majority thinking that Olympic will extend their league run to 4 games undefeated in a row. Not on by Waters for White. Referee playing advantage. Endine upended in the centre circle. So referee Kersey will bring it back for free kick near the halfway line. I don't know what the collective noun for a referees is, but there's a number of them in here tonight, about 40 of them I'm told, who are currently officiating in the under-19 championships out at Ipswich. One day to go in that state championships, and they've come into Goodman Park to observe one of our best referees in Queensland here tonight. Kersey. Oh, Mundy. Had Adam Kersey in my brain. Lofthouse. He's beaten Chiwashimi, but he hasn't beaten the byline. Pride with some relief in their defensive territory, but they're hassling hard. Olympic. Nazari could almost have launched Deus. Ito. Pengelly. Plenty of height up front for Western Pride. Shout out to the Pit, who, as we talked about earlier, not necessarily a lot of them here, but obviously a few of them watching into our live stream. The Western Pride supporters group, who are quite vocal in home games out at Briggs Road. Down in that little corner. One of the few really active supporter groups in the NPL Queensland. Free kick to the Pride on the halfway line. Western Pride player remains down. Looks like Olympic ready to make their first substitution of the evening, and it will be the skipper, Danny Byrne, departing and coming on in jersey 12. Costa Saros. It's the first change by Ben Khan. Danny Byrne shift over. Costa Saros will take over. It's going to be too far. Although, was there a free kick? No, says the referee. Incidental contact. If you have just joined us, Western Pride down to 10 men after the send-off of Gab Harwash for a second caution in the first half. And then it was the man playing his 100th game in the NPL tonight, Matt Mundy, who broke the deadlock for Olympic 4 minutes into the second half. And that's how we've got to Olympic 1, Western Pride 0. Olympic almost with the opportunity 60 seconds after scoring that opening goal of coming up with a second. Plenty of red shirts trying to press against Western Pride and not allow them a cheap exit out of their defensive half. Composure required by the Western Pride youngsters. Chiwashimi. Indeed, it was in the 7. Looped over. Can Heels reel it in? No. The byline will beat him. So quarter of an hour into the second half. An hour of football completed in this round 15. Top of the table. NPL Queensland round 15 clash. Free kick will be awarded the home side's way. This is Ito. Searching ball forward for Nazari. Perhaps just a little bit of a lull in proceedings after that goal was scored by Olympic. To Ashimi. Oh, Ito. Good touch in the end because he did have some influence on his side getting back possession. Tuashimi, the better of Deus. He does continue to hassle and try and make up for the earlier error. Hills gets the ball back. Almost thought about taking the shot himself. 3 players in the box for the Pride. Can't hit any of them. Indeen. He goes down at the edge of the box. There's another yellow card coming out. This time for Shelford Deus. So we've had 2 to Olympic, 3 to Western Pride, including that second yellow to Gab Harwash. 4 in the wall for Olympic. Hills to take the free kick. Mooney just giving the final instructions to his defenders as we wait for Hills. Tries to curl it high. Didn't dip at all. So on the live ladder, taking into account games that are currently in progress, Olympic out to a handy 5-point advantage on top of the table. The next competitor is Western Pride, who do have a game in hand though. Still 11 rounds to play in the NPL Queensland after this weekend, so still a long way to go. You'd suggest realistically to race in the top 6 down to Brisbane City in 6th place for a finals berth, although Gold Coast and the Brisbane Raw Youth play tomorrow down at the Logan Metro Sports Park. The one game in the NPL tomorrow, 6:30. An impressive new venue down at Logan that the Brisbane Roar are playing their NPL games out of as Lofthouse drags Tuashimi over. Plenty of compliments coming in for that new venue down at Logan. change here for Western Pride. And making his exit will be Andrew Pengelly. The man coming on, I think I know who it is, but I just need him to turn around or get some sort of sight of the number. I think it's Jake Manette. No, it's 16. It's Alex Parsons who's come on for the Pride. Meanwhile, Saros lays it off. Mooney. Mundy has taken up the captain's armband after the withdrawal of Danny Byrne. White. Sanders. Lofthouse. Rounds to Ashimi. That's been a good battle tonight. Jez Lofthouse and Delors Tuashimi, the two exchange a handshake. Speaking of Jez Lofthouse, Akasames appreciating the efforts of Jez Lofthouse, saying Jez Lofthouse is a beast. Certainly been one of their more impressive young players in the NPL this year. Sanders lofts it high towards the back post. Riving was that Olympic player. Stefanuta was chiming in from the defence and rapidly backtracking. Meanwhile, potential counter-attack here for the Pride. Free kick outside the box. So a chance from the dead. Oh, now Matt Mundy has said something. Adam Kersey immediately calls him out. There's all sorts of gesticulation here from Matt Mundy, who is very vociferous in his complaints and will pick up a yellow card for dissent. So the third yellow card for Olympic tonight, and Adam Kersey will be staying behind after the game to do a lot of paperwork. Four yellow cards and a send-off. Feelings accentuated in this top of the table clash. All to play for. Western Pride looking for their first title in terms of finishing top of the table. They did win the grand final, of course, last year. Olympic did the double back in the inaugural year of the NPL 2013, winning the premiership and the grand final here back in 2013 against Brisbane City. Wasn't looking like a good night for the locals in front of about 4,000 people here at Goodwin Park. Brisbane City 2-0 up after 70 minutes. Olympic scored twice in the last 20 minutes to send it through to extra time. A goal apiece in the extra time, and then Olympic went on to prevail 3-0 in the penalty shootout. Deus. Sanders, shoot is the call. And that's exactly what he does do as Olympic ready there, second change of the evening. And when we have that break and play, we'll also check in around the grounds once more. Lofthouse for Ito. Mundy. Deus stretches the leg. Looks like Olympic might just be withdrawing that substitute. There was a player waiting on halfway, but now returning to the bench. Another advance towards into the box. Saros with the turn. And he didn't have to make a save on it. Davison at the end. And Olympic will make that change now. It's Shane Stefanuto who will go off. And the man coming on, it looks like it's James Cubaneo in 14. And yes, confirmation that that is indeed the case. So let's take you around the grounds with 20 minutes to go here at Goodwin Park and in the NPL. Lions have scored at Perry Park just a moment ago. 69 minutes completed. Lions 1-0 over the Brisbane Strikers. Brisbane City reduced to 10 men at the Corporate Travel Management Stadium. Half-time there. Moreton Bay have a 1-0 lead and half an hour gone in Mackay. And Magpies Crusaders and North Queensland United 0-0 in the Northern Derby. In the FQPL, 55 minutes gone between Logan and Wolves, and it's 1-1. 73 minutes gone, Mitchelton lead Sunshine Coast Wanderers 2-0, half-time, and Capalaba lead Roachdale 3-0, and Southside Eagles. That game just kicked off down at Wakeley Park, 1-0 leaders against South United after 8 minutes. And in the women, it's Eastern Suburbs who have launched a bit of a comeback on Ladies' Night at Heath Park. 3-2 leaders with 20 minutes to play against the Gold Coast. 20 minutes to go also at Lions Stadium, and Lions lead Logan Lightning 4-2. Quarter of an hour to play between Mitchelton and Sunshine Coast, and the Mustangs are comfortably ahead there, 3-0. And a quarter of an hour gone at Walter Park, Moreton Bay and Capalaba 0-0. And of course, that provides the timely opportunity to remind you that tomorrow's NPLW game is being live streamed. As we see another yellow card being issued to a Western Pride player. Right back for Western Pride, Daniel McHenry. The latest to pick up a caution. Yes, just getting back to tomorrow's coverage. A choice of 2 games for you at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow I'm off to Eric Evans Oval at Bundamba for the game in the FQPL between the Ipswich Knights and Holland Park Hawks. And from the NPLW at the same time, 3 o'clock, Simon Smale will join you for Mudrabar versus Western Pride. And of course, midweek action in the magic of the Cup, the FFA Cup. One side already through to round 7 in Lions. Awaiting them is the winner of Tuesday night's game between Peninsula Power and the Brisbane Strikers. I'll be with you for that one from AJ Kelly. 7:30 Tuesday night. And then Simon Smale with you for the All-NPL Queensland clash on Wednesday night. And the other side of the draw with Moreton Bay United hosting Olympic. Of course, both those sides currently in action in the NPL. So plenty of football over the next 4 days or so to give you your fix. 4 games on the various channels of the Football Queensland social account. And now we've got a lunging challenge in by Josh Wilson. So the yellow cards are stacking up. Nazari remains down for Olympic. Olympic physio will be called on once more. Just over 15 minutes to play in this top-of-the-table clash at Goodwin Park. Now, Adam Kersey is off to the technical area for Olympic. I think he'll be having a chat to someone here. He's reaching for the card. He's going to book one of the members of the technical area, it looks like, or a player. I think it's a player. One of the substitutes. Is it Shane Stefanuto? I bet you it is. Even when he's not on the field, still likes to have his say. The Brisbane Roar media manager. Rolling around for another year at Olympic. I hope I haven't got mistaken identity there. If I do, I apologise. Meanwhile, Nazari, at least now sitting up. It's been a keenly contested match, as you'd expect. Pride reduced to 10 men shortly before the half-time break. Matt Mundy scoring for Olympic to break the deadlock. 4 minutes into the second half in his 100th NPL game. Physio about to leave the field, and we'll have play to restart shortly with a Kieran Sanders free kick for the home side. So here's the restart from the former Far North Queensland Heat man, Kieran Sanders. Up in the Far North in 2016. Before going to the Northern New South Wales NPL last year, based around Newcastle. Playing alongside the former A-League player Danny McBreen last year, Kieran Sanders. Waters. Jumaneo. Saros, Lofthouse. Day's just got a little bit of a shove in the back from McFarlane, which was enough to put him off. Good work from Ito to stop Tuashimi. Sanders tries to loop it over the head and then cops one in the Melon Freeze efforts. 2 number 7s go at it. Endine for the Pride and Deus for Olympic. It's the Pride's Endine. Gets the win that time round. Hills knocks it back for Duckworth. Just over 10 minutes remaining now. Can Olympic hold on for the 3 points, or Western Pride be able to salvage something out of their visit to Goodwin Park? Nazari! Crowd goal. Someone off to our left went up. thinking the ball had rippled into the net. It wasn't to be the case. So Western Pride readying a substitution. Looks to be Josh Wilson being replaced. And making the entry onto the park is jersey number 11, Mitch Bird. So second change for the Western Pride with 10 minutes remaining. Good work by McFarlane. Caught offside is the newly introduced Bird. Mundy stumbled. Nito assisted with the recovery. Cristani, the Pride skipper. Sanders knocking it on for the advantage of his teammate in Saros. Lofthouse and Deus were waiting near the box. Davison brought into the action. Cristani, Pride just unable to find a way past these red and white shirts. Tuashimi, Lofthouse coming to him. Steers it through. And it'll be a corner here for the Pride. One of the rare opportunities in this second half. There's an Olympic player down at the edge of the 18-yard box. Olympic physio is being busy tonight, being brought on 3 or 4 times. One last check around the grounds as this injury is attended to. So it's still 1-0 Lions over Brisbane Strikers with 9 minutes to play. Still half time between Moreton Bay and Brisbane City. 1-0 Moreton Bay's way as White will make his way to the sideline. And Magpie Crusaders have scored the opening goal in Mackay for a 1-0 lead against North Queensland United in the FQPL. It's Logan Lightning 2-1 over Wolves, 67 minutes in. Mitchelton looks like set for 3 points there up on the Sunshine Coast with 5 to play. They lead Sunshine Coast Wanderers 3-0. As we look at this corner being taken into a crowded box. Mooney didn't know a lot about it there in the end, it looked like. 57 minutes in, and Rosedale pulled one back against Capella 3-1, and 20 minutes gone down at Wakeley Park. Southside Eagles lead Souths by 1-0. That'll be our last look around the grounds this evening as this game at Goodwin Park begins to wind down. Olympic still with the ascendancy. Bird. Sanders. Lofthouse have too much pace for his opponent, McFarlane. Once again, the Olympic supporters looking for a free kick. The women, East 3-2 over Gold Coast, 7.5 to play. Lions comfortable 6-2 over Logan with 8 to play. Almost full time between Mitchelton and Sunshine Coast. It's 4-0 the Mustangs' way and 27 gone between Moreton Bay and Capella Bar, and it's 0-all there. That's in the NPL W. Of course, Mudrabar versus Western Pride tomorrow for you 3 o'clock on the live stream. And it looks like that White will take no further part. He hasn't come back onto the part. And Jack Glover in jersey 2 will be the final substitute onto the pitch for Olympic this evening. Mazzari tug of the shirt on Bird, and we've got another yellow card coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Olympic tonight. 5 of the starting 11. Now in referee Kersey's notebook. Eight all up, plus the 2 yellows that resulted in a red for Gab Harwash of Western Pride. Across the face of goal. I know you want some singing, guys. I'm a pretty shy person, despite this commentary gig where you have to talk all the time, and I'm not about to sing in front of about 1,000 people and plus another 150 or so on Facebook. Appreciate the sentiment, but Lofthouse. Can Olympic seal these 3 points, 1 cent for all? Lofthouse is going to try and do his best to either go himself or assist. Sanders was screaming through the middle of the park. Mooney will allow this to run the full distance before picking up in front of Bird. Every decision being challenged by the respective technical areas in this tight, tense encounter. Ito. In the hands of Davison, who will attempt to get things working quickly. All right, here's a big shout out for all the boys. Once again, Matt, happy birthday. And thanks to the Managing Director of the Brisbane Roar for chipping in as well. I'm speechless at the moment with all these birthday wishes that are being asked for. Let's get back to the game and concentrate. Chiyoshimi, because it is still on the line here. Overhit. Final change for Western Pride. Is it Chiyoshimi who's going to leave on this side of the pitch? Yes. And looks like Salomon Lakonga in jersey 12 will be his replacement. It is. Those distinctive bright orange boots. The number 12 for Western Pride. So 90 minutes about to be completed. We might see a fair bit of stoppage time with a couple of injuries and numerous cautions. Mundy bangs it long. Can't be playing for the corner just yet. Surely Olympic. Yeah, possession will be good, but still on a knife edge this game. Deus slides in. Sanders aimed to shoot. Where is the crowd? If we get an opportunity to pan, you'll see plenty of them here, but I think at the moment, just a bit of a silence descending on Goodwin Park as these supporters just anticipate the final moments of this game and whether Olympic can wrap up the 3 points or Pride can salvage a draw. Lukonga. Getting on his bike is Kimuneo and sends it into the AFL fields across the road. Thankfully for the Pride, there's a ball handy. Perhaps aiming for a long throw into the box. That's exactly what looks like is going to happen here. Long ball into the box, as good as a cross. Except when defended away by your opponents. Anywhere down this end of the park, good for Olympic at the moment. Pride need to move this on. Crestani. Back for his keeper. Deus will pile on the pressure. McFarlane. They need to send the ball 60 metres plus here, the Pride. Venturing into their attacking half. Doesn't come off that time. Olympic crowd calling for the full-time whistle to be blown. Cubaneo. Lukonga. Crestani, he'll know the situation. Lukonga arriving on the scene and clatters into Ito. Late in the opinion of referee Kersey. Blows a little shush toss sign to the Olympic crowd, and that's got them fired up for a little bit. Adam Kersey with a wry smile towards the Western Pride substitute. Deus on his haunches in the background. Ito now. Ito will be booked for delaying the game. 6 yellow cards now for Olympic. 6 of the starting 11. More than half of them being booked in this game now. Bird. Lukonga against Waters. Waters will attempt to shield the ball. Lukonga's given away the free kick now. The crowd are coming to life in this latter stage of stoppage time. Mundy will just bang this long. Sanders against Crestani. Crestani battling hard. Got a foot in illegally. And now Crestani goes into the notebook. Six for Olympic, 4 for Western Pride, plus the 2 yellow cards to Gab Harwash. 12 if you want to count them up individually. It's an even dozen for the slice of cheese, as they colloquially coined it down in Tasmania. That is full time, and Olympic continue to lead the NPL Queensland table. In his 100th match, Matt Mundy has proved to be the difference between these two sides, scoring in the 49th minute to break the deadlock and score the only goal of this game at Goodwin Park in this round 15 NPL Queensland top of the table clash. It's Olympic who have prevailed by 1 goal to nil over Western Pride. A reminder, tomorrow, 2 games for choice for you. We've got the NPLW, Mudrabar versus Western Pride, and in the FQPL, apologies, I'm being distracted. As you can see, there's a number of people walking past our camera. It's just distracting me a little. We've got Ipswich Knights and Holland Park Hawks in the FQPL tomorrow. So until then, when Simon Smale and I join you for those respective games tomorrow, it's good night from Goodwin Park. Round 15 of the NPL Queensland. Olympic 1 have defeated Western Pride 0.